we feel great that we have the opportunity to play on, and I think that opportunity was really earned. The last 3 or 4 weeks of the regular season. Starting with the series win over Miami. I really felt like that weekend we started to turn the corner a little bit, even though we lost the series at NC State. I felt that Miami series here at home kind of, started us to really get to believe in ourselves that, we could be a little bit more consistent. And certainly the way we played the last 2 weeks of the regular season was big. Certainly the 3 out of the 4 games in the conference tournament, where it was disappointing, the end result. But, we were right there and had a chance going into the 8th inning to beat Miami. And, they're a national seed. And then, we just couldn't find another win. But I'm really proud of this group and excited about the opportunity to go out to California. We don't know too much about the teams that are in the regional, other than what you read and hear throughout the season. I know Southern Cal, certainly they have a very, very storied college program historically. They got a really good team this year. We're certainly looking forward to competing against them. I have no idea where it is that we're going to play, but I'll look at a map here soon and figure it out. And we're just excited for the opportunity. And I got a ton of confidence in this group. I think we can go out there and really play well and have a chance to win this thing.
You've talked over the years a lot about the advantages of playing a regional at home. Your players sleep in their own bed.
Yeah.
Your fans here. What about when you go on the road? Is there anything? I guess it's probably a little less.
Yeah.
In the sense that you're not the favorite.
Well, there is certainly. I mean, we played the favorite a number of years, and then finally, we took our show on the road in 2009, went out to Irvine, and finally won our first regional. So there's something to playing on the road. Believe me, I would love to be playing in this ballpark and with our fans behind us, but we didn't earn that this year. And I think for this team has proven this year that we're better out on the road. And so, I'm looking forward to this opportunity.
You mentioned that going out to 09. Was that the regional, the series that kind of helped really put this program? Looking back on it, in your 12 years here, was that maybe the most important 3-day stretch?
Without a question. Certainly important 2-week stretch, because the next weekend, following behind, losing the first game at Ole Miss, and then winning the next 2 to go to Omaha. But that weekend out in Irvine in 09 certainly was a really defining weekend for this program and its history, because we were able to win our first regional and get on to the next opportunity. And, leading into that, there are a lot of questions out there about people can you get over this so-called hump that everybody talks about? And certainly 09 allowed us to do that. We went out there in a regional that, everybody was calling the toughest regional of all the bracket. And, I think we gave up 3 runs combined in the entire 3 games. So if we do that this weekend, I think we're going to have a chance to win it. So.
That was a young team. This is a young team, though, right? And there's some serious
value. There really is. That team that year, you had Hicks and Proscia and Holtzen and all those guys that were freshmen, and certainly we've got a lot of new faces on this year's club. So I think this will be a good experience for our guys to get us out of what we've been used to, and that's to play in the East and play in the South and get out West and go out and play good baseball. And I'm confident that we'll do that.
You didn't really worry coming out of Durham that you wouldn't get selected.
You know what, Jeff? I don't. I never like to leave anything in anybody else's hands. And certainly, I was confident that we would get in because of our total body of work. But when people start saying, "Well, your RPI is so good," well, that showed today in this selection that you can have one of the top 30 RPIs in the country and still not get selected. So, I just I feel like most years that we've been here, we've kind of taken it out of their hands, by not necessarily by winning the conference championship, but it was just a total slam dunk. And when I got back and got a chance to get home yesterday and kind of assess what we were competing against, I was very, very confident that it would happen.
The fact that it wasn't a slam dunk this year, does that maybe make you appreciate it a little bit?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I mean, you got a locker room full of guys that this is new to them, and then you've got a contingent of guys in there too that, they've won 45 games in a regular season. They've won so much that this day was not the exciting day for them. That it was just a slam dunk that it was going to happen. So, I think for this year's club, it was. We put ourselves in the position that there was some uneasiness going into today. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because it forces you, it allows you to appreciate how challenging it was to get to this point.
Can you talk about moving Josh back to the bullpen?
Yeah.
And what the
Well, Josh has been our closer for pretty much the whole year until we got into this situation where Kirby went down, and he's done a great job in his starting pitching performances. I don't know, maybe in the first couple of games we won't need him, and he is able to start game 3, like it's played out on a couple of those weekends. But our plan will be that if we have a chance to win the game, we're gonna use him out of the bullpen, and then we'll assess as we move on from game 1 to game 2, and then beyond that, what we're gonna do with him. I'm not saying that he won't start. I think it's all a matter of what happens in the first couple of games.
what do you like about him? I mean, what is his strength?
He's just got. I mean, I think he's a tough, competitive kid. He's pitched in such big ball games for us. He pitched a lot out of the bullpen for us as a freshman. He started last year. There's certainly times that he was inconsistent, but I think about the big ball game he pitched in Omaha. Obviously the Maryland game. And I mean, this stuff is really, really good. Sometimes it's not in the zone all the time. It may be effectively wild, but the velocity, the slider's really good, the breaking ball. Geez, the guy's got 14 or 15 saves. He's proven that he can do it at the end of the game.
How much, this time of year especially, do you need a guy like that back?
I think you have to have it. I really do. If you don't have somebody that can finish games, when you're talking about ending somebody's season, that's really difficult to do. And so not only do you have to have somebody at the end of the game that can handle the pressure of the situation, you also have to have somebody that's got really good stuff too. And he has that. It's like Nick Howard in that role last year. Kevin Arica, one of our coaches, has been in that role. We've had some pretty special closers that we've had, and it's been a priority for us to have somebody at the end of the game that can do it for us.
When you've been the number 1 seed in a regional, sometimes you've had some options about game 1 pitching. When, as a 3 seed, are you more likely to come out with Connor in this game?
I'm not necessarily. I mean, we'll look and assess Southern Cal and see. We won't look at the other 2 teams. We'll look at and see what do we need to do to beat Southern Cal. I don't know. They might have 7 left-handed hitters in their lineup. I can't even tell you. They might steal a lot of bases, or they might not at all. I think that, there'll be factors like that'll play into it. I mean, the reality is to win this thing, you got to win 3 games. And we all know the advantage of winning the first 2. And so I think that we need to set it up to certainly give ourselves a best chance against Southern Cal, but also, too, what do we have to win the next one, too? We're going, we're going there to win the thing, Certainly Southern Cal's the first opponent, but we're going there to put our team in the best position to advance on.
At this point last year, Connor was kind of
Yeah.
not an afterthought, but you weren't using him as much, but he kind of hit you said mental fatigue toward the end. And he said that you kind of talked to him and said this is kind of a learning experience for you, kind of sit back, watch what happens,
Yeah.
and then kind of use it for this year. What is the biggest difference between him last year and then this year at this same spot?
Well, I think, I mean, let me put it this way. I think, the reality is to win this thing, you got to win 3 games. And so I think that we need to set it up to certainly give ourselves a best chance against Southern Cal, but also, too, what do we have to win the next one, too?
What is the biggest difference between him last year and this same spot?
One, I would say would be physically. Connor Jones is in a much better position than he was at this time last year. You know, when you go through high school, you have no idea what you're going to endure in a college season as a pitcher. And, you know, he did hit that wall last year and just couldn't push through it. But he's more mature. He's physically more mature, mentally and emotionally. He's in a way better place than he was last year, and that just comes from growth and maturity. So he's been throwing the ball really, really good, and you know, I'm excited to see him go out there and compete.
Should Kirby appear? Are
Yeah.
you thinking more of starting, a couple innings out of the both? You know, it's just up in the
You
air.
know, I don't know yet. I mean, he worked out today. I don't know in what capacity. I would say by the middle towards the I know this. He ain't going to start the first two ball games. Okay, so it's going to be something that we would have to assess later on in the week and see, you know, if it is an option, and if it is, you know, what capacity would that be in? There's a lot of things that are going to factor into that. One, is he ready? Two, even if he's ready, am I putting him in a position for him to succeed for our team? And also, you know, am I putting him in a position that is not in the best interest of his future? So there's a lot of things that are going to go into it. He's progressed fine, but you know, we'll find out more.
Did the mono stunt his rehab much at all? Or?
No, I don't think. You know, a little bit from a physical strength standpoint, but not really. I mean, you know, we were looking at the 6-week mark, anyways. You know, we knew that it could heal up faster, and he could start something as early as 4 weeks. You know, but you know, the mono, I don't think really had much of a factor in it.
You talked at the beginning about all the unknowns, the teams, the location. Does that kind of add to the excitement of this?
Oh, I think so. You know, we've been kind of conditioned here to, you know, watch the regional selection sites on Sunday night and know, okay, well, we're hosting again, and we know the routine, and we're going to eat at the Italian Villa, you know, on Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning and things like that. You know, we kind of have this routine that we've done, and so I think this is fun and exciting. This is different than, you know, what we've experienced the last few years, and, you know, I think it's really good for this team.